Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Fellow Democrats take aim at Bernie Sanders. The candidate's on stage in South Carolina 4 days now until voters head to the polls. We'll tell you how the frontrunner held up and how the other candidates' campaigns are looking heading into this weekend's contest.
The city of Arvin back in the red after struggling to pull above water over the last few years. The mayor says the city and community need to come together and decide how to raise revenue. What's putting them back in a deficit coming up?
The Fat Tuesday celebrations have come to an end, marking the start of the Lenten season. 17 News will be live downtown for a tradition of getting ashes on the go. We'll tell you when and where on this Ash Wednesday, February 26th, 2020. Good morning, 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside a returning Alex Fisher. How was it?
It was great. Went to spring training in Phoenix, Arizona over the weekend and saw the Dodgers out playing, and it's going to be a great season. It's going to be a really good season. Huh? I've got some very high hopes, and I got to tell you, being there and just seeing them play, it's one of the. I was so giddy. I was so excited to see them.
You looked a little giddy.
And when you're there with so many fans and just you feed off of everyone else's excitement, and it's a lot of fun. So, but it's good to be back.
It is certainly feeling like spring here at home.
It does feel like spring. And I did enter Phoenix, though, in some stormy weather, so that was nice to see some rain in the forecast. But right now, it's looking pretty good. Right, Kev?
Well, you got it. We didn't. We only picked up about 100th of an inch while you were gone, Alex. But the weather is super nice, and it's going to continue. Yesterday was beautiful. 76 degrees on the high, again, above normal, and we're going to warm things up even more so today. 47 degrees to start off your morning under a calm wind right now. As we take a look at these temperatures throughout the day, we'll be right near 63 at 9. And look at that, near 80 this afternoon for all valley locations. We sit at 36 degrees in Tehachapi right now. You have a light wind out of the east at 9. And as we take a look at the day here, we are also going to warm up nicely. Temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. We're still tracking maybe some rain closer to the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's get a check of the morning commute. We'll send that back over to Alex.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. I'll take you outside the first time this morning. Here's a look at the 99 near Airport Drive, and as you can see, things are looking pretty good on that side of town, and for the most part, everything else around the county is looking pretty good. We'll have another check of your morning commute coming up in about 15 minutes. It is 5:02 now, and new this morning on Sunrise. Bakersfield police are looking for a man wanted for grand theft, and he's got a very distinct tattoo. Here's a picture. Back in December, officers say he stole a guitar from the Guitar Center on Ming Avenue while employees were with other customers. He's described as a white man between 40 and 50 years old. That tattoo on his neck, it is of a swastika with wings and a hat. If you've seen him or have any information on where he may be, call police. And more guns are off the street this morning. Police searched a home on Santiago Court yesterday. That's just a few blocks away from Greenfield Junior High. Officers found 2 assault rifles and 2 handguns. They arrested Christian Jimenez on gang-related charges.
Dozens of people under arrest for breaking curfew at public parks. Yesterday, a BPD response team patrolled different parks in the city. The operation started at 3 a.m. People were found violating curfew and trespassing near buildings. The park curfew violations were focused at Patriots Park, Saunders Park, Jastrow Park, and Lowell Park. 23 were arrested for open charges like possession of narcotics and restraining order violations. Another 15 were arrested for outstanding warrants. Some of those had dogs with them. And when they were arrested, the BPD took 8 dogs to animal shelters. The response team also cleaned up parts of the park during the operation.
Funeral services for firefighter Patrick Jones are set for tomorrow. It's happening at 10 a.m. at the Tulare Methodist Church on West Kern Avenue. Jones died on February 18th alongside Captain Raymond Figueroa while they were fighting a fire at the Porterville Public Library. The men were trapped inside while searching for possible survivors. Yesterday, Captain Figueroa was laid to rest at North Kern Cemetery.
Today, millions of Christians around the world will gather to mark their foreheads with ashes to signify the start of Lent.
And as 17's Taylor Schaub reports, one local church will once again make it a little more convenient for commuters to get their ashes on their way to work. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, Maddie and Alex. And that's right. In today's fast-paced society, it seems like everything is about convenience. And for some people, that includes getting your ashes on Ash Wednesday. For people with busy schedules, a Bakersfield church is offering ashes on the go. Pastor John Wilder with Emmanuel Lutheran will be in downtown Bakersfield offering ashes for people heading to work. The service is held to signify the start of Lent, which is the 40-day process of fasting and sacrifice leading up to Easter. You're looking from video of last year's event held downtown where Pastor Don had been offering the service for nearly a decade now. It all starts at 7:30 this morning on L Street across the street from the Kern County Jury Services Department. We'll be out there later this morning with a preview of the event and maybe even witness a marking.
All right. Thanks so much, Taylor. 5:05 now, and a local family is demanding justice after vandals defaced their son's gravesite and then posted video of it on social media. 13-year-old Alejandro Vargas Jr. died last June after being hit by a car on Niles Street. The boy's mother says on Friday, someone posted on Instagram threatening to trash his grave at Hillcrest Cemetery. Then on Saturday night, video was posted online showing teens smashing, kicking, and throwing out mementos.
You know, the gravesite, you would think we're leaving our loved ones there to be safe, and we're putting our stuff there to be safe, and for people to come and vandalize it like that, it's not right. Crazy how people want to hate and bully us for no reason. You know, I don't wish on this for anybody to be going through what I'm going through at this moment.
The family says they have no idea who would do something like this. The sheriff's office is investigating. If you have any information, call them at 861-3110.
5:06 is your time this morning. A new park's coming to 5 acres of land in southeast Bakersfield. It will be at the corner of Linnell Way and Brahma Street, featuring basketball courts, sand volleyball courts, fitness equipment, and more. The city's Parks and Rec department learned yesterday it will receive a $3 million grant. City officials say the money comes from Prop 68 and will cover the entire construction of the park. It's expected to be completed in 2 years.
Chevron is making a huge investment in its future workforce. The company presented a $1 million check to CSU Bakersfield yesterday. It's billed as an investment that will help produce the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. CSUB President Dr. Lynette Zalesny says Chevron is helping grow the School of Natural Sciences, Engineering, and Mathematics at record numbers.
5:07 now, the city of Arvin in the middle of a financial crisis.
17's Karen Wall was at its city council meeting last night and brings us more on this story on how to get out of the red coming up.
We're back here at 5:18. A former McFarland basketball coach is expected in court today, accused of sexual misconduct with a teenager. According to court documents, Pruneda tried to get sexual favors from a JV basketball player. The boy says detectives say that Pruneda touched the boy inappropriately and forced him to sleep in the same bed with him during away tournaments. When deputies questioned Pruneda about text messages he allegedly sent the boy, Pruneda told them he was just joking around. He faces several charges, including lewd acts with a minor.
A Bakersfield gynecologist and cosmetic surgeon accused of fraud is due in court this morning. Dr. Jason Helliwell faces 31 felony charges, including grand theft and making false claims for health benefits. Police say he ordered unnecessary drug and allergy tests and was paid up to $25 for each patient who was tested. This is not the first time Helliwell has been in trouble. Back in 2018, the State Medical Board placed him on probation after several allegations of misconduct.
The city of Arvin is tens of thousands of dollars in the red and looking for a solution.
17's Karen Wall was at the city council meeting last night and has a recap of what was discussed.
Mid-year budget reviews are in, showing $40,000 in deficit. By the end of this fiscal year in July, the city could be $100,000 down.
Arvin used to be deep in the red.
When I first came here, the city was looking at a $800,000 deficit. We were looking at massive layoffs or things like that.
But the city got back on its feet in the past few years.
The good news is that for the last 2 years, Arvin has been in balance. We've closed out 17-18 with about a $400 surplus, and 18-19 is about the same.
Arvin has tried to keep up this streak. This year, the city tried changing to a less expensive health insurance plan for its workers, which would have saved the city $90,000. But it says the unions shot that idea down. The city then tried to ask the unions for a one-time $60,000 concession. The unions also refused.
We have to have a discussion within the city and with the community on how we want to raise revenues.
As a result, Arvin is now down $40,000 in legal fees for these union negotiations. And the cost of the current health care plan is going up by 8%.
The only concern we have is the ongoing escalating cost in health insurance. We spend $500,000 of our $6 million budget on health insurance costs.
So by the end of this fiscal year in July?
Right now we're projecting about anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000 deficit, which is about 1% of our general fund budget.
So how can Arvin make back this money by July?
We do have Canvas ongoing, and so if a couple of those organizations develop a little bit faster, we can bring some more revenue that way. So I'm optimistic that this is just a short-term thing.
While no action was taken last night, the next Arvin City Council meeting will be on Tuesday, March 10th. As always, those are open to the public. I'm Karen Hua, 17 News.
522 now. The ordinance that streamlined the permitting process for new oil drilling in Kern County was just tossed out by an appellate court in Fresno. The 5th District Court of Appeal overturned the county's controversial ordinance on streamlining environmental impact reports. Environmental impact reports show how extraction operations can affect the environment. Typically, oil companies need separate reports approved for any new oil wells, but Kern County has allowed companies to use a single report for all new operations in an oil field. Overturning it means it could take longer and cost more for oil companies. We spoke to the county's chief administrative officer, Ryan Alsop. He says attorneys are still studying the decision, which is 150 pages long, to figure out what the county will do next.
Your time now is 5:22, and IHOP Restaurants in Kern County dedicated National Pancake Day to helping Children's Miracle Network. Yesterday, all 4 IHOP restaurants in Kern County served up a free short stack of pancakes to customers from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. In return, many made donations to the Children's Miracle Network.
People come out and they show up in droves to get their free pancakes, and then they give back. They are making donations to make a difference. It truly is a short stack for a tall cause.
More than 4,600 pancakes were served and more than $8,700 was raised. All of that money goes to the CMN and the Lawrence Small Children's Center at Bakersfield Memorial Hospital to enhance medical care for local kids.
From San Francisco to South Korea, the world's racing to prepare for the coronavirus.
An update on the growing number of cases worldwide, plus what the International Olympic Committee is saying ahead of the 2020 Games in Tokyo.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. It is 5:26, and Disney has partnered with Impossible Foods to feature its plant-based burger at Disneyland theme parks and the Disney Cruise Line. The Walt Disney Company says customers have been wanting more vegetarian options in its parks and hotels. Disney chose Impossible Foods over rivals such as Beyond Meat. The company makes plant-based meat meant to look, taste, and cook like the real thing. The deal doesn't necessarily mean that Impossible Burger will be served at all Disney restaurants. And speaking of Disney, the multi-billion-dollar company has a new CEO after Bob Iger abruptly stepped down yesterday. Iger is now the executive chairman and director of the company's creative endeavors. He will remain with Walt Disney Company until his contract expires at the end of 2021. Bob Chapek is taking over. He served most recently as the chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. More than half of adults who have flown in the last 2 years think it is more stressful than going to work. That's the result from a new survey released this morning by The Points Guy. 55% of American adults surveyed say the process of air travel, from booking tickets to packing to going to the airport, actually flying, they say is all more stressful than going to work. 44% say it's more stressful than going to the dentist or spending the day with the in-laws. Maddie?
All right, thanks so much, Alex. It's 5:27. Coming up in our next half hour on Sunrise, Democratic presidential candidates squared off in a debate last night. We'll have more when we come back.